Yo, 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 what's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of Couple of Dads podcast. Myself, Roony.
And me, Jay.
5 weeks in, Jay.
5, you know.
5
bruv.
weeks. Where's the, you know what?
I don't know.
We've got new toys, right? So,
Go on. Hey!
Hey.
I would have gone with this one. That's what I'd have gone with. That's what we deserve, I think. Yeah.
So yeah. 5 weeks in,
5.
and we hope you're enjoying it. Like,
Yeah,
we're
man.
getting loads of good feedback, and it's been
It's been good.
yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's kind of like therapy for us, isn't it?
It is a bit, you know, because, it really is, man, because do you know what? I've not been to see a therapist for time, innit? So I come here and I can just talk and that's it, and I get it out. So
My dad's
just
one. I'm
as
lucky
good.
I can just talk to him there.
yeah, see it there? See what I'm saying? I just come here and chat. It helps. It's just the same.
And it's true. That's it. And then you get to hear along with us and
That's it.
Learn a few things as well. So,
Yeah.
how's Mabel
Hopefully
been this week?
She's been good, you know. She's been very good. A lot of eating of different foods.
Oh yeah, she's
just
weaning, isn't she?
Yeah, she's weaning. She's just started doing the old
Ah,
trying to blow the food out and that. You know what I
okay.
mean? So
What's
yeah.
her favourite so far?
I think one of her favourites has got to be sweet potato, and I can't remember what else was with it, but she was enjoying it a lot.
Because I remember you said to me before. Because
Yeah.
Nancy had a tip with weaning, wasn't it? It was like only feed them the
Yes.
one product at a time.
One thing at a time, so they get used to.
Like, so
and
if you know
can
they're
figure
allergic
out
to
what
it,
they don't
then
like or
they
what
can't
get
have it. Yeah,
allergic
yeah.
to, yeah.
So like,
But
if you
yeah,
sweet
man.
potato, just sweet potato.
That's it.
Broccoli, just broccoli.
So yeah, she's on them. She's been eating some some of them hip jars as well.
Oh yeah,
And the kid's a dessert kid. She's a dessert fan.
nice.
Yeah,
Sweet tooth.
she's got a sweet tooth already, which we need to curb, I think. But yeah, man,
That's what's got me in the predicament.
I think that gets us all in a predicament, bro. I love a pack of frigging man fruit pastas or something, boy. You know what I mean? So how's Brandon then, bro?
Yeah, he's had a cold this week, bless
Yeah.
him. Yeah, like
Oh,
from
man.
swimming last week. I think because the weather's changed and whatever, he got
Yeah,
he got a bit of a cold, so he got his first cold, bless him. Like, so he's been a bit bunged up. He's been he was a bit restless,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
nights. But he's yes, it was a weird one as well because this perfect time to bring it up.
Mm.
You know, like they make such a big thing about baby temperature. Don't let them get too hot. Don't let them get too hot. Don't let them
Yeah,
get too hot.
yeah.
Well, me and Kerry noticed that when he had, with his cold,
Yeah.
he was moving about, getting irritable, but laying on his hands.
Okay.
And we had a little look online and whatever.
Yeah.
And that means he's a bit cold. So he already had a vest and the sleep suit and a certain tog sleeping bag.
Yeah.
But he was kind of telling us in his way he's a bit cold.
He was
So
cold.
up the tog sleeping bag, and he was less restless. You know.
Oh, wow.
So obviously the cold had changed his temperature a little bit, but. You know, that's just a little sign for you. Is if you see them getting restless and laying on their hands.
Yeah. That was just
sleeping on their hands.
I
Yeah.
was just gonna say, see, that's a tip for you right there. And it's not a sleeping bag; it's a grow bag.
I'll grow back. Yeah.
Got to get technical with it.
Yeah,
I
see,
called
there
it
you
a
go.
sleeping bag as
Yeah.
well.
See, I learned something new there as well. But yeah, he's been doing that. So he's had that and he's been getting over that. He's got on with it. He's coming towards the end of that now. But he's been properly crawling now as well. He lifts himself up like he's doing some yoga pose. And then he's he's going more backwards. First, so he's sliding back. We put a picture up the other day.
Yeah.
He slid under
the sofa.
yeah.
So I was cracking
Slid
up
his
when I
legs
saw
under the
that.
sofa to grab, but he's starting to move forward as well.
Oh
So
boy,
every day he's getting more and more but yeah,
that's where the fun begins, bruv.
he's been doing some mad thing where he makes something he goes, yeah, where he's getting himself frustrated because he's not getting.
Is that similar to the noise he was making the other day?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
that noise is hilarious.
Yeah, so he's getting there every day. He's getting closer and
that's
closer to that. But
Yeah,
bruv,
man.
again, every day is different. Isn't
It
it?
changes every day, man. Mabel's been doing the same thing. She's been getting her legs in,
Yeah.
pulling them in, she's getting herself ready to push up onto her thingy sort of thing. So I think it's only a matter of time before one of them starts going.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's mad. It's an enjoyment though, because it is so sick to just see how they just change and start doing different things. It's mad.
Yeah. Every day the personality sets in a little bit more, doesn't it?
Yeah, man. That's the one thing that I like the most. you start seeing what they're actually going to be
true.
like. You
It's
know
true.
what I mean?
So with the like, obviously you're saying like Mabel's been weaning and that.
Mm.
As she took to that, does she still having bottles and that as well?
Oh, so right. So this is the thing, yeah. So they say when you go to the like the appointments with the midwives and the health visitors and all that sort of stuff, yeah, they say that I think it's something like they're supposed to only have 500. I might be wrong on this number. If I am, Nance will
Nance's voice. Yeah.
But I'm sure it's something like 500 milliliters or whatever it is. They're supposed to have that still with whatever food they're having
to
balance it out a bit. So
them,
at the minute, it started off that she was having breakfast. So she'd have a bottle in the morning, say about 5-ish, and then she'd have porridge at about 9.
Okay.
Sometimes. And then she'd probably go for about 3-4 hours, and then she'd have something at lunch, and then she'd go to another bottle.
Okay.
And then
So with the porridge, you know, like obviously she couldn't have like cow's milk formula.
Yeah,
She's still having goat milk.
No, so with the porridge, you don't even have to put milk with it. It's
water.
powdered, and you just put water to it and just mix it up, sort of thing. So that's kind of been a help as well, kind of thing, because it might have been a bit harder if she would have had to have the goat's milk, because then we'd have had to buy it and all that sort of stuff. But so now we've got her. I think this was like the first week she was on two meals or whatever they were saying.
Yeah.
Now she's up to 3 meals, so she'll have a bottle early in the morning. Then she'll go to like whatever time she wakes up after that bottle. She'd have porridge.
Yeah.
Then she'll go a little while and she'll have maybe like a bottle and some other food maybe. And then after that, she'd have food a little. She has food a little bit later. She has a dessert with them sometimes as well. And then she'd have a bottle just before she goes to bed, and then she'll sleep all the way through.
Okay.
So now she's down to 3. She's having 3 meals and she's having 3 bottles a day.
Mad.
Which is crazy.
So Brandon's just around the 5-month mark now.
Mm.
Obviously, when he's 6 months, like,
So
but we're getting close to that.
Yeah, you're
like,
coming. It's coming up
thing.
close, man.
And I saw some thing the other day, and I was thinking, oh, you know what, I'm gonna try them. So obviously now, like the podcast and all that. And since being that, like you start. Certain things start popping up on your phone, and you start,
you notice that on your Instagram,
Yeah.
things start changing, and the adverts that you see are different.
I saw something the other day, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna get them. It was like little ice lolly things. So they're like for babies, obviously, help with teething, but then also get them used to like. So like on this thing, it was like they've got a load of blueberries, and they made up the blueberries with water.
Yeah.
Put it in the freezer, come out. It was like little ice lolly for
I've
the baby.
seen them.
Yeah,
I've
they're
seen
well
them.
cool. So I was like, you know what? When he's old
dope.
enough to do them, I'm gonna try them. Like
We've got another one you should try and get. It's like a dummy,
yeah,
and it's just like a plastic thing.
with a cage, is it?
No, it's just like a plastic.
Okay,
like it's like a dummy,
Yeah.
but it's got a hole cut out on the bottom.
Okay.
But it's the shape of a dummy as well.
Yeah.
And then you put a bit of fruit in it, and they can like gnaw on it with their teeth.
Oh, so it's safer because the fruit ain't
So
just
then
in their
all that's
mouth.
coming out is just squeezing the fruit out into their mouth.
That's pretty clever.
It's a good one. And then there's another one because he's teething as well. I think it's called Bricky Pegs or something like that. Yeah. They're like a hard biscuit,
Okay.
like proper hard biscuit. Hard for them. They're that hard that they can't like
Just
chew it and swallow it or anything. They bite it and it helps with their gums for when they're teething.
Oh, okay.
I'll get the name and I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But I think they're called Bricky Pegs, something like that.
Yeah.
But when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's actually a cool idea.
Yeah.
So we got them for her as well.
So I got them the food things to look forward to. But I'm excited because I like cooking anyway.
That's it. That's the
me,
good thing.
Me and Kerry's like, you know what, we can actually like start preparing probably more of our stuff for ourselves as well. Because like, you know,
that's it.
You have to do it.
You're gonna
when it's us, you can like, we let it slide.
Sometimes.
For the baby,
you got to be on the job. It's true.
You're on the job. And so that's I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to that.
No, it's good, man.
And also as well, it's that little bit of like, right, my boy's growing up.
That's it. Like quick, you know. It's not a joke.
It's crazy.
You know when people say to you, it goes fast. No, it actually does.
Yeah.
And you don't realise that until you're actually in it. It goes really quick.
And you know what as well? I've had to like do a few more hours work recently, like for certain things, and I've been doing some other stuff, and obviously I have to. That's been hard as well because it's like
juggling.
And like because you still want to see like because they change so much and you don't want to miss out on anything
that's
at all.
Exactly that. It's true.
That's
why I appreciate the pictures, the videos, and all that stuff. When the missus sends them and that as well. You know what I mean? Because even though you're not there, you're not gonna miss it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
That's the bonus.
And that's where, even like the joys of doing this,
yeah.
because it's like, it's a memory for life. Like,
That's exactly that.
like for us
For
to
us,
listen to
you
and go,
can
oh, do you
listen
remember
back.
that? Like,
That you
and
can
for the
listen
kids,
back when they're young, when they're a bit older. You
Yeah.
can listen back to it and be like,
And-
"Wow, I remember that as
and
well."
the kids when they're older, they can
They can listen to it,
and
yeah.
they'll hear us forever.
and they'll hear us talking. That's it.
Yeah,
It's that we're not going anywhere.
yeah, and then also you as listeners can listen to our journey, our
Yeah.
kids grow, and also any person who comes on,
Yeah,
you get a story of that person.
that's it. Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Do you know I had a great
on.
idea what we could do as well?
Go on.
So I was thinking, obviously we post a lot of content about the kids on the page.
Yeah,
But I thought when we have a guest on,
yeah,
we should tell them they should give us some pictures of their kids
Oh, yeah,
that they
yeah.
would like to see people to see.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
and become part of the journey.
Part of
It's
the
the Dad's
journey as
Army,
well.
isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. So yeah,
like,
man.
that's kind of like your badge of honor for being on the show. You get like a
Yeah,
little post.
you
of,
get
man.
That's,
So you and your kid
yeah,
get
defo.
feature on the page. But you know, talking about memories and that, and creating things. Like Kerry has set up email address for Brandon.
That is so cool, you know.
Like basically, it's like, so we emailed him his first swimming lesson. So
That's
pictures,
sick.
little
That's so
message,
sick.
like, you know, like, and a few
I
other
love
bits and
that.
pieces.
I
So we're
love
like,
that.
we're
Absolutely love
messaging
that.
him key
Yeah.
stages in his life. So
Yeah,
he's got
yeah.
these emails, and then
So
and then
when he gets that email, when he's a bit older or
Yeah.
whatever, he's gonna be able to see all of that stuff. That is
he'll probably
so
say,
cool.
"What do you
That's
think? You think I'm reading all of that?"
He go there. He
That is
got
there,
every
you
year
know?
of his life
Yeah, innit?
up until when he's 18. He'll be like, I don't want to see all of this.
But yeah, that's I thought
Oh,
that was a
man.
really really cool idea.
No, that's a good. I like that. That's a great idea. That one.
And you know,
That's
like
a proper
we've been
cool
saying as
idea.
well, like we've had more and more people messaging us saying like how they're enjoying the episodes and
Yeah.
they've got stuff
yeah.
to say, and like we're gonna obviously bring on
So,
Dads.
there's gonna be people coming on.
all the only qualification you need is dad. So
That's it.
qualification, dad, that's it. And we'll get some stories. And this week's slightly different to any
Yes.
other week, innit? So
Yes,
obviously you've had 4 weeks of us talking about kind of
that's it.
where it began
Where we started and how we got to where
and
we are.
where we
now.
are right now.
Yeah.
And I think it's only right we bring on the girls.
Of
this week.
course.
Yeah.
Before we do that
Go on.
though, yeah, I want to give somebody a honourable shout out,
Go
yeah,
on.
because this guy sent us an email, not even an email, he sent us a DM the other day, and he told us a little bit about his story
Yes.
and about the stuff he'd been through, and
Yeah.
he liked the fact that he had us to kind of help him, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I can't remember what was his name again. I think it was Jake
Jake
Davey,
Davey.
I think it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Hey, listen, Jake, you are like the first big up we've ever done on the show,
'cause
bro.
you know what,
So,
that kind of that touched us because we was like, you know what,
Yeah.
this is the whole reason we set this up. Obviously
Defo.
to tell the stories, but also to let dads know, you know, you're not alone.
yeah, there's
and
a
you can
place where
talk,
you can
yeah.
come and talk and stuff, and
So,
you got people
yeah.
to talk to. You know
So,
what I mean? So
you'll hear Jake's voice on this at some
At
point.
some
you know,
point,
'cause
defo.
he is definitely qualification dad.
100%.
Yeah, he's
100%.
dad qualified, Jake.
Yeah.
So yeah, big up Jake.
Big up Jake, man.
And yeah, this week it's only
Well-
right we get the girls on, but obviously this is still a couple of dads. So anything that you hear is like it's in reference to like what they thought of
Yes.
the dad's point of view and what the women
Yes.
want from the dad
That's
and what
it.
they got from us that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
helpful
That's
and
it.
what
Yeah.
could have been needed more of, you
That's
know.
it.
And like this is our way of helping every dad and every new dad,
Every new dad.
established dad, everything.
There's some gems in there.
There is.
So just take notice.
So yeah, let's
Without further ado.
let's get the girls on. Right, so welcome to the show. My Mrs. Kerry.
And my Mrs. Nancy
Hi.
and
Little
Brandon.
Brandon's there as well. There, yeah.
Mabel's asleep.
Yeah,
in a minute.
Mabel's kipping right now. She's literally just gone to sleep. And my Aries brother, you know.
So,
That's
so
about.
girls, you obviously have been listening, and you're a big part of like what we're doing.
Yeah,
What
loving what you're doing.
have you been thinking of them so far? Well, how's it been like hearing the stories?
I don't know. For me, it's been quite emotional. I find myself like listening to an episode and then I'll listen to it again, and I'll be laying in bed and I'll listen because it's just so nice to hear our story being sort of spoken about, and obviously where we're so close to you, is hearing yours and everything.
That's Brandon.
That's Brandon
away.
Yeah.
He's chewing his teeth.
Yeah, no, we'll do that. But yeah, no, it's been really nice to just have it there, and it's there now for forever for us to listen back to.
Is there anything that you have learnt from it, like that you have heard us say that you haven't, like that you didn't realise at the time?
I think for me, just maybe how you felt during well, I'm sure we'll get to it, but the Labour episode, that was for me like sort of really understanding how you felt during it, because we never really sort of debriefed. We never went through it afterwards, so that was the only thing I think I was thinking.
Yeah. So Nance, was there anything that you learnt from like listening back off of them?
I don't think so. I anticipated Labour with Jason because all he'd done is say to me that he was going to pass out. So I just thought he was going to pass out, but actually he really surprised me. But no, I don't think so. I mean, obviously there's been a couple of like little corrections on times and things like that, but no, otherwise I don't think there was anything that I didn't know that's come out, if that makes sense.
Do you know what's been nice for me as well is like actually listening to it, is that it's made me realise that you do pay attention. You do actually know what's going on. Like,
See, Dads, we give good advice.
No, you do. When it comes to like bottles or nappies change or everything, you actually know what's going on, and I was quite impressed with that.
Yeah.
We'll chalk that one up as a win.
We'll take that.
We'll take that.
See, Dads, all them last 4 episodes, everything we've told you to do it. It works.
That's it. That's a win for all
Especially
of us,
the
that
cup
one.
of tea.
Yeah,
The cup of tea is a winner.
And also as well, I suppose, for yous, like, hearing us, like, saying we know what yous do must have been a bit, because, you know, you don't always think that we do listen in that sense either.
We try our best.
No, you do. You do try your best.
So,
You do.
was there anything that either of us got wrong that you want to correct or elaborate on even?
I don't think so. I think for me, it wasn't anything that he'd got wrong. It was just that like I said, the Labour story was the hardest one for me to listen back to, because he was saying things and I was just, I don't remember that, or we haven't spoke about that. And it sort of made me realise that once I'd had the baby, you go straight into mum mode, and then everything that happened is just sort of, it's done, it's forgotten about.
Yeah.
When actually it needs to be sort of spoken about more.
So for me, actually,
Go on.
I got upset at the things that you didn't remember. So obviously it's not my first rodeo. Mabel isn't my first baby.
Of course.
And she was, so I had Marley 12 years ago, and that was a really easy labour actually. I made childbirth look really easy amongst my whole group of friends, and when I had Mabel, I anticipated an easy labour, because all they'd said is that because I had Marley so quick that I would have Mabel even quicker. I feel like that my labour was more difficult, of course, compared to Marley, and with her being compound, she was a lot harder to get out. And you'd said that the midwives, you'd said that the midwives change shifts, but they didn't. They didn't change shifts.
That was what I thought happened.
Yeah, no, they just brought in a load of midwives because I couldn't get her out.
Yeah.
And it had kind of come to a point where it was a little bit of an emergency.
Yeah.
And we was on a clock with 6 minutes to go, and I had to birth her. Otherwise, there was going to be an intervention.
To be fair, you did well in that 6 minutes. To be fair,
yeah, I definitely did. She's here.
She's here.
Thank you.
Little sneeze from Brandon and a smile there.
Yes, bless you.
So yeah, let me just say, if you hear any noises, then yeah, it's the kids making up noise. So obviously, after the birth happened, was there anything that you feel that the hospital could have done better to help you? That you could do that?
I don't think so. I mean, both of my girls have both been born at awkward times, so instantly you're left on your own with them. you're taken onto a ward and the partners have to go
Yeah.
and you're left on your own to your own devices.
Yeah.
First time, really daunting. Second time, I kind of knew what I was doing. But still daunting. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
you're still then left alone with a new little baby that you've forgot their needs, and they have different needs.
Yeah, of course.
But no, actually, the ladies on the ward was lovely to
Yeah.
me. They got me an extra cup of tea and biscuits, and we sat
Yeah.
and had chats, and they held Mabel, and it was actually quite nice.
Yeah.
But I then got kept an extra day, so maybe just to go home a little bit sooner, to be honest. That would have been it, I think.
Okay.
And less pressure around certain things that you do or don't want.
Okay. Talk about that then.
Well, we didn't want vitamin K,
Yeah.
and there was definitely, it sort of become a hot topic on the ward.
What was your reasons behind that, Nat? Like, what?
Because I'd done my research, and I let Marley have it without knowing anything about it, Roon, to be truthful. I literally said to my mum and Marley's dad's mum, "Oh, what do I do? Do I let her have it?" And they just went, "Well, you had it," and I just went, "Oh, okay, well, she can have it then." But the more I thought about it, I thought, why does she need blood clotting stuff? Why does a baby? Why do they actually need that? Surely they're born with everything that they need. And then I've read a few different little things, and it comes with like a black box warning, which means that it can be linked to like death and stuff like that. And yeah, this time round, I didn't want to do them things with Marley, but I just felt pressured. And all these years later, I said, I'm not going to be pressured into making those choices. So yeah, we just sort of done our own little bit of research, and it just come with certain warnings that I didn't want to take a chance on. Marley also had a baby period. Yeah, babies, little girls can have periods when they're born, and she had quite a long one. And I always worried whether it was actually linked to that.
Yeah.
Even though it's supposed to be blood clotting, she bled quite a lot. So it just didn't do for me what it was supposed to have done back then. So this time around, we just said no. But it became a little bit of a topic on the ward, and I heard them talking about me. They drew curtains round.
But that's the alarm to say that his bottle's running out. That's part of this whole thing.
You work in media as well, and you're the only one with your phone on loud.
It's always one person.
Sorry. Continue.
I can't remember what I was
You said
saying.
about the curtains.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he come round and like drew the curtains on me, like me and this doctor on my own, and which was a little bit intimidating. I'm not going to lie. I didn't have Jason there, so you're then asking one parent, even though we'd made a joint decision, you then want me to change my mind, which wasn't going to happen anyway. But I just found it a little bit intimidating and a little bit draining to keep repeating myself to different people. Like, communicate. And you tell that person I don't want it. Like the midwife, Julia, who delivered her in the end, was fantastic. And she was like, she's your baby, it's your choice. And
She was.
that's what we stuck with. It's our baby, it's our choice. And that was it. But yeah, once he'd signed it off, but he had to sign it off that we'd said no.
Okay.
Yeah, so that there was a bit of pressure there. But
Yeah.
I get they've got a job to do.
Yeah, and then you must have felt that pressure on that side as
I
well,
can't
like, on a
even
different
front.
way,
I
I
kept
suppose.
phoning
Right?
him.
I can't even
about
lie.
it.
I was a bit pissed off. Sorry to swear for everyone listening. I was a bit annoyed at that, if I'm honest, because obviously they're in the hospital on their own. We're not allowed to be there until like what do you call it? Till the visiting times. But then yet you feel it appropriate to then ask a person who's just had a child and been through a lot, you then feel it okay to pressure them into asking them questions to do certain things. That didn't sit well with me, if I'm honest. So as soon as 2 o'clock come, that was why I
Straight.
made myself there, quick time.
Because that time was weird for like everyone. That like being on your own
Yeah.
in the house, can't wait to get back up there and see them.
And you
And then
wait.
yous must have been like, where are they?
Yeah.
See, mine was different. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You're talking about once they were born.
Yeah, like you know, like when they send the dads home, and then we have to we're at home on our own, so we've got our own little thoughts. Like, it must have been completely different for you,
time
but
was
you must have been
Brandon
thinking.
He was born at 12:10 in the afternoon,
Okay.
so Rue was with us until 7.
So you
7
had
you
that
had to
whole
go
Half
home?
six. Half six. I
Half
let me have an
six.
extra
So we
half
had
an
a
hour.
long time together.
Yeah.
But then my experience of being my own must have been totally different to yours because I was out of it, and so
Yeah.
was he.
Yeah.
We both slept.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that there was nothing. I had a good
Yeah.
experience with the nurses. You know, everything was fine.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like I couldn't have too many emotions to
Yeah.
myself, so we were just too tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's mad.
Well, I had her at 6 minutes to 1 in the morning. So,
No.
yeah.
No, it wasn't. Yes, oh,
Yes,
my
it
bad.
was.
Sorry, it was. It was. I was getting confused.
Don't get
with
yourself in
something
more
else.
trouble now. You can't argue with the mums now.
Bro,
12,
listen.
You're
Giving all this advice, you can't
Is she
argue with the
as
mums.
Bro,
now.
listen.
And then they kept us in the little side room. Again, Julia was amazing.
Yeah.
She just said, take your time because they like you to get up and get showered and stuff like that. You get up, get ready, they put you in a wheelchair, you take the baby, and then Jason's allowed to walk you to the ward, and then he had to go. So you literally, and it was the same with Marley. It was in the middle of the night, and then you're left on your own in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And then you've just had them. So all you want to do,
Do you mind?
all you want to do is look at them.
Yeah.
Is that what happened? Yeah.
Excuse me.
Okay. Cool.
Excuse me.
You know what, as well, like, obviously, coming away from them and the amazing moments that we've all had
Yeah.
since they've been born. The changes in them's mad, isn't it? Like, when you're hearing them both talking and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, I know.
going from, like, them times there when you're on your own and they're just laying there, they've
Yeah,
just been born,
yeah.
to now.
And how quick?
Sometimes I look back at them pictures from when he was first born. I'm like, I don't even know that baby.
Yeah.
You know, it's
and
just-
someone can show you a picture
They
and you
don't
go,
even
that's
look.
not the baby.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
don't
I
even
know
look the
it
same.
is.
They
Yeah,
do
they
not look
change
the
so
same
much.
at all.
And so quick.
just their needs change like weekly.
Yeah.
And what you get back from them
Yeah.
changes. And
How
yeah,
have you
guys.
both, since having the kids, how have you both found it?
I'd say for me, I was told sort of in the first few weeks because he wasn't sleeping and stuff. The first few weeks were
Yeah.
really hard. And someone said to me, it does get better. And that's the only way for me to describe it. I mean, I've had a great experience from the beginning, but it does get, not better, it gets easier. It's like throughout, I'd say every week, every month is a little bit easier. Obviously, you're then faced with different things. Look at me looking at Jason.
Yeah.
You said, bro.
But I'd
I'd
say it gets easier and you get a little bit more back to yourself
Yeah.
after sort of the time goes on. But
Yeah.
we've had a great experience. I think we've really enjoyed it.
I think for me, mine was that obviously I've already got a child and a routine.
Yeah, of course.
So Mabel just come along and had to fit into that routine. You know, like I think it's different. First baby, actually, you get to sort of sit in it,
Focus
that
on
little
them
bit longer.
all the yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, we did have that time, but it's still more scheduled. It's more routine.
Yeah, of course.
Because I mean, Mabel
It's
was
'cause-
born on a Saturday,
Yeah.
and Marley had the Monday off,
Yeah.
and then went back to
Back
school
to school
Tuesday.
as normal.
So routine is paramount straight away,
Yeah.
and we've got a dog. So the dog needs walking,
true.
and
Yeah,
you know,
it's
like
true.
there's other things that you've just constantly got to do. So yeah, I mean, being that the routine's already there and that I've done it before, it's just remembering it because there's 12 years in between. It does feel like a first baby again, but yet you've got a 12-year-old to contend with as well. So yeah, it's
Two very different experiences. I think.
completely, yeah. And trying to manage the two can be hard sometimes.
Well, I mean, yours to mine, I think, very different. So obviously, I'm
Completely.
just there with
Yeah.
like the one, and you've
Yeah.
got two kids, a dog.
Sometimes I'm like, I'm so sorry. I just, you know, like I can't reply to this or I can't do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's just it's hard
too
trying to
busy.
That
manage.
happens.
Yeah.
That's
all
the
of
joys
things
of
at
having
times.
children, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
how
I
it
don't
goes.
know how people have 6. It's
know,
not
Yeah.
that way.
I
So,
Don't get no ideas.
obviously, like, there's loads of mum content out there, and this is like us for the dads.
Stop talking about
No.
yourselves.
No. What I was saying is, we've said our points of view, like from a dad's side. Like basically, we've said it in like small parts, but we want to do a full episode on it.
Yeah.
Is that whole thing of going back to work and having to leave yous? Like for yous, that must have been a very daunting task as well. And like, you must have seen it in us.
Yeah, for me, if you'd asked me what's been the most difficult part of all of this, it was you going back to work. Because I remember there was that one time that you was leaving and I was changing him, and he was going out the door, and I could feel the anxiety building on me, and then I just felt myself starting to cry because I'm thinking, how am I going to go to the toilet? All these silly little things that now I can't realise that. I'm like, why would I think that? but now I've figured it out.
Yeah.
Back then I hadn't.
Yeah.
And I think that feeling of anxiety, because you were such a big part of it all, you know, especially with me having the cesarean and stuff, you was there doing everything with me. And I find you're quite, what's the word?
Be nice.
I'm trying to calm. Yeah, you're very calm. You are very calm, and you're very involved in everything. Like I said before, like you are aware of everything that's going on, so I can fully rely on you in that sense. So having that sort of removed after 3-4 weeks, that was the hardest bit for me.
It's like having a safety blanket taken away, isn't it?
Yes.
I think it was harder with Jason because he had extra time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you was even longer.
Yeah. I was at work for like a month.
Yeah, so I'd got used to you being around all that time. Funny, because normally we couldn't last about 2 weeks without rowing.
To be fair, most of that time she was saying, when are you going back to work?
No, towards the end I think I did. Like, you know, like, when are you going back to work now? Because we've definitely had enough of each other. No, but actually doing it and him going back to work it's a challenge. And again, like I said, going back to having 2 kids and a dog, trying to get out the door of the morning with everyone and no extra hands, it can be hard.
Can imagine.
It was hard.
I think one thing that was quite important to me as well was that Rue's very, what's the word again? You're quite intuitive with my feelings, and I think that was very important. Like, you understood that by going to work,
I'm definitely not.
what I was going to feel, and how things were, how the day was going to go. You were checking in on me all day. You came home a little bit early on some days, and I think that was quite important for me, that you really understood how I was feeling. I mean, sort of similar to what you're saying. These days, I'm like, when are you going to work?
Yeah.
You know, stay out as long as you want.
Yeah. Give me a break.
We're all right. So it's totally different now. But I think that was very important, that you were really in tune with, like, you picked up on how I was feeling without me really having to say it.
We've said as well, like in these, like with dads and stuff like that, how relationships change as well a little bit.
Is he trying to tell you something?
I think so.
I can see your eyebrows.
No, but we've been talking about it, like with
Okay,
like,
so I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about this the other night. Brandon's in the next to me, and I'd say for the first, maybe up until a few weeks ago, really, all that time, what I would do is, because he's on my side of the bed, I face him. I face the baby.
Yeah.
So I'm like
Turn
sort
your
of
back.
making sure that
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want him to think, where's mum?
Yeah.
So I'm fully facing him. And it's kind of like, Rue's there, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's all about the baby. And it's only been the last few weeks that now I'm a little bit more like, baby's okay. And now I can cuddle up to Rue more now, you know. So that's, you know, we did totally, certain relationship things got left.
Yeah. Brune, I actually had a question for you that I don't even think, I just thought about it. It was funny because I mentioned it to Jason the other day. Obviously, every relationship's different. And Jason tries his best, but sometimes he can lack.
She's like, don't talk about my
I
dad.
know, hear it. he can lack on the caring side of things. Sometimes he needs like a little bit of a reminder. I think that you're quite caring. I said, like, Rune's quite a gentleman. And I said, do you think that comes from him being raised by women?
100%.
I said it to Jason,
100%, because when you're raised by 2 women, you kind of, I don't know, I got their toolbox, where I didn't get a man's toolbox of, oh, a man can't do this, man can't show their feelings, a man can't talk about how they feel, like how they feel and all that sort of stuff. So, because my dad wasn't around, I was raised by obviously my mum and my nan. Yeah. So having the both of them around gave me that kind of set of tools. So that's probably why that is the way it is, because that's all I know, you know.
Yeah. Which is not a bad thing, though. That's a great thing. To be
But
fair.
it's a great thing for me during that period as well. Like I said, just not just doing sort of certain things. Like, Rue always comes home with flowers. That's one thing that, you know, I always have to credit him for. He's always excuse you.
Jesus. Mabel. All right, now.
Sorry.
All right.
But it's not just the flowers, though. I'd say that's one side of it.
Yeah.
But then it's this side of, he's very don't get me wrong, Rue's not perfect. Let me just say that before we go any further. But he's very.
Who is?
Go on, what you got to say, hon?
I thought I was. But no, I'm only joking.
No, but my point is the flowers and everything. That's great, and I'm very lucky to have that. But he is very in tune with my feelings, and he does listen to me and picks up on how I might be feeling. Sometimes he'll preempt things, so I think that really helped with our whole situation, our birth, how unexpected it was and everything after.
But that is being like raised from two women.
Yeah.
So like I never got like a dad's way of, and I kind of want Brandon to have my way of, like, if you feel like something, talk about it. Like, blokes do cry as well,
really
like blokes do have to kind of get things off their chest.
Yeah.
But like, as we were saying as well before this, like with this is obviously like for dads, and we were saying about relationship changes, and like the whole thing of some dads might be on their own, they might not have friends who's had kids, and they might think that the woman's just gone funny with them because there is an issue, or they've got issues there. So like that whole thing of like a change, it's not. I'm just trying to like get it out there that dads, you just got to be aware that like this is something that it's not like it changes and it never gets back, but things alter for a while because you've just been through like a big traumatic experience, and then you've got to learn on the job to bring up another human.
And I also think that it can change a lot because I think this is massive, but I know a lot of women cover this, so it's not something we need to get into hugely, but like how we then love ourselves and our bodies and the changes that it goes through, because I'm awful for that, like awful. I rip myself to pieces all the time. I mean, we went on holiday 4 months after having Mabel, and I was so conscious about even putting on a swimsuit because you've just had a baby, but actually you have just had a baby, and that's okay. So I think while you try to process even your own body, sometimes the thought of then sharing it can be a little bit like, oh, you don't really want to?
Yeah,
do you know what
absolutely.
I mean?
The surprising side of that is as well, some dads have that issue. Like, you sit indoors and you eat because you're being comfortable, you're happy, and then all of a sudden, dad bod.
Sorry, my point on that one, again, I'm going to big him up again. Sorry.
No, that's good.
It is so. For me, it's so important to have Ruby the way he is, and he makes me feel so body confident. Yeah. And I was my most body confident in my whole life while I was pregnant, which was really crazy to me. And then I thought after it would really change, and it didn't. I was still body confident, and actually when I look at it, it's because I'm in a different place in my life and I can be that for myself, but it's also because I've got a man that never makes me feel, like I've got no need to be like not confident about my body. And I think that's really, really important for men after a birth is to sort of support and big us up.
Daisy. But also, sometimes they can really try. So Jason really tries with me, but actually my own belief is a lot stronger than what he will say to me. Yeah. So if I've told myself for years, and also it goes back to Mabel being my second baby. So I had Marley when I was 22, and I was a size 8 before I fell pregnant with her, and I was a size 8 within 6 to 8 weeks afterwards. Yeah. And I was slim and didn't look like I'd just had a baby, and I knew that weren't going to happen this time like that because I was a completely different size before I had Mabel. But how I feel about myself overrules whatever anyone else will say to me. But I am like that as a person anyway. Yeah. You could say to me, sorry, pardon you, Mabel. You could say that you look beautiful, Nance, I love what you're wearing, and if I don't think it, then what you say is completely irrelevant. I'm very much like that with Jason. So he will try his utmost best, but if I don't believe it, then I don't believe it.
That's true.
Yeah, which is hard to make someone believe if they don't believe that themselves anyway. Yeah. It's going to be hard for them to actually listen and take on board what you're saying if they don't believe it anyway. Yeah.
Which must be tough for you, Jay, because if you don't believe what she's thinking and you're trying to tell her that what you believe is what you believe.
I believe what I say.
Yeah.
I don't believe what I don't listen to what she says. But I believe what I say, so I just say it. I just keep saying it either way.
To be fair, he's really supportive on a lot of things like that. So he might not be as gentlemanly as in flowers and those sort of things, but actually he does, like, obviously since the accident and stuff, I've suffered like really bad anxiety and yeah, it's been hard, and I actually feel like I'm gonna cry.
Oh, listen, it's good. Don't worry, you're all right. You're good. Don't worry. Go on.
Take your time.
And he's just been good and tries.
Oh my God.
I know, we're bringing the women on, and then everyone's in tears.
Sorry. But yeah, he does try to, because I just always think bad things are going to happen and stuff like that. And he tries to pick that side up for me all the time. So that's your big up.
We can only try. We can only try. Do you know what I did want to ask? What I wanted to ask Kerry, yeah? Because I notice a lot with Roony, yeah? He kind of like puts himself down because of how he, like, about his dad body sort of thing. And I always say to him, bruv, give it a rest, man. Like, how do you feel about that when he says that?
Exactly the same. Like, just give it a rest. It's irrelevant.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, of course.
It's completely irrelevant. Like, I know, you know, with Rue, I know true love.
Yeah.
And everything on the surface level to me is completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
And it's like, things are hard, you know, it's not easy having a baby and going back to work and all of that sort of stuff.
Course.
So I just want to make everything as easy as possible and try and make everything as positive as possible.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're all big on it. You know, what you say is kind of you're speaking it into existence and stuff. And I'm just like, let's just talk positive. Yeah. Try and be positive as much as we can.
Yeah, of course.
Because also at the same time, I'm very aware that everything we do, everything we say, as little as they are, they're picking up on it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm all about being positive and, you know, and also, if you're not happy about it, get up and do something about it. Yeah. Simple as that.
That's true.
We've got to eat healthy. We've got to do all these things for his sake as well. So, but
Brandon's agreeing with her there.
But Rooney's such a good cook, though.
I know.
I know that don't help.
I know.
Oh, mate.
It's like a Roony episode. I'm sitting there like,
Right, let's change that.
Yeah,
Let's not make it his episode. I'll leave it down.
The name of this episode might have to be Roony Gets the Most Praise.
Mabel's like, no, actually, it's a Mabel episode.
Yeah.
you know what? Like, talking about obviously like raising kids and the things that we want to do with them, the positive talks and the tools that we want to give them for later in life. Like obviously, me and Jay had like my dad wasn't around, Jay's mum wasn't around, so we had like different kind of things that we have to kind of make sure that we reinvent for our kids.
100%. Yeah, you have to. Me and Jason have talked about this quite a lot this week. Actually, you can't be unless it's a good past. Then fantastic, be a product of it. But actually, if there's damage there, and you want to change it, you consciously have to make that effort so that it doesn't become a thing that you then pass down. Yeah. So for affection. Maybe a weaker point of Jason's on showing it. So therefore, with Mabel, you will make a conscious effort to change that and show that affection because you want better for them. Yeah, and that's important.
I think for me as well, that was the hard part about, you know, like when I go to work, or because obviously with my job, sometimes the hours are very like unsociable. So like, I don't want to go out one morning, Brandon's asleep when I go out and come home and he's asleep and then he doesn't see. So I'm kind of conscious of that as well, because obviously when my dad wasn't around, it was, but then you have to look at the positives, like I said, because my mum and nan brought me up, there's things that I learned that my dad wouldn't have taught me if he was around. Yeah. So it's kind of like using the extra tools that you have, but then replacing them and finding ways so they don't get the ones that you never got. Like, so they get the ones that you never got, I mean. Yeah. So yeah, it's a weird balance.
It's a tough one to balance. And to be fair, considering that obviously my mum weren't around until I was 27, I had my stepmom. But at the same time, when I look back on it now, I realised that not having an actual parent kind of made me feel like I didn't belong. Yeah. If you get what I mean. It made me feel that I didn't belong in my family. And I still feel like that a little sometimes now. So trying to shake off them old things from the past is hard.
Definitely.
But you can do it.
Yeah, that's like with my dad. Like, first time I met him, I was 14. And at that time, it was like meeting a mate. It wasn't like meeting your dad. Yeah. But prior to that, it's like I don't know if you was the same. It's like having like a part of you missing. There's always that part where you don't know why you do certain things. My mum doesn't do that, so why do I do that? Like, if does my dad do that? There's a lot of stuff with the kids comes from parents, and we have to be very mindful about that, and the way that we bring them up, and the way that we do things, and even the way if we have a disagreement, not having it in front of them. Or
that's hard. I think now being a parent, I realise how hard. You know, I think when I was growing up, you'd sort of think, oh, you've got to, it's easy. You just got to be a certain way in front of kids, but then you've got to change yourself.
Yeah.
So it is hard, but you just have to be constantly conscious of what you're saying, how you're being. Like, you know, we argue, and I'm like, we can't do this in front of him. Yeah. Then what do you do? You're like, come on, then let's go upstairs.
We kind of take it to WhatsApp now, don't we?
Yeah, we do it on WhatsApp now.
From the other side of the room.
Now I've got evidence.
So that can be harder for us with Jason as well, because not only is he Mabel's dad, but he's Marley's stepdad. Yeah. And that's difficult. You know, like,
that
because
comes with his own.
Yeah. And then she'll throw out as often as she likes, you ain't my dad, and we're all aware of that. Do you know what I mean? There's never been no question about that. So yeah, it can be, that part can be hard. But you've just got to try and do your best, ain't you? You know, like, I do think it's hard. Like, I was brought up by my mum. At my dad, I saw my dad on a weekend. So I was brought up by a very independent, strong woman. That I like to think that I'm the same, and that we're going to raise very strong, independent women who will say how they feel and won't be quiet for the sake of because you're a woman. You know what I mean? And I think also bringing up girls and boys is quite different, isn't it? I mean, I've never brought up a boy. I'd feel like a new mum all over again.
See, for me as well, it's really important that we bring him up with certain things that Ruth's been taught.
Yes.
You know, I want him to treat women the way
values,
that Ruby treats me. Yeah. You know, so I've got to make sure conscience. I mean, I've put that back on him. I'm like, just let him grow up like you, and I'm happy. So he can
but then I owe my mum and nan all that credit there, because obviously whatever they did, and I've asked them questions. I've said, like, what was it? And it all boils down to, every time I speak to my mum, it's just showing love and letting them know that, like, I want Brandon to grow up and be 27 years of age, ringing his mum for advice, or ringing, you know what I mean, like, or ringing her every day to see if she's all right, ringing both of us, and hugs, and that's
hugs and kisses,
like, and the affection, like, because you know, it doesn't make you less of a man.
No.
So you know,
it makes you more of a man.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And that's something that, you know, like, I want him to have, because I'm lucky enough to have that, you know, and so the dynamics of parenting is they're one that changes all the time, aren't they?
Always. It always
of course,
changes.
but I think your overall goal is what, like, that's the main thing to set, isn't it? So you know how you want your son to be brought up. We know how we want Mabel to be brought up. Like, for the things that we may lack in certain areas, like, I mean, I love my dad, but I've 100% got daddy issues. I am one of the girls, sorry to say, but I am. And again, I wouldn't want that for Mabel. You know what I mean? So that's Jason's, that's your role, isn't it? To make sure your daughter don't have daddy issues. You know, like, that you just play the part in their lives what they need.
It's true. Very true.
There's a lot of work on the dads here.
Oh, mate.
Pressure on the dads.
You know what?
Oh, bless you.
As obviously this is gonna, like, it's majority dads. This is who listen to this.
No,
what would you give, like, advice wise to dads, like, and maybe just things that, you know, they should be looking out for, or they should be doing, and just in general of a whole, you know, like, parenting, like, from two mums' point of view, what's like an important thing for?
I think first things first is being there. It's being present, ain't it? Yeah, it's being there, like, knowing, I don't know, maybe small things, put your phone down, having quality time, you know, like, them, just being present. And let's face it, at our age and our generation and our times and technology and stuff like that just takes away your attention all the time. It's them things about trying to be present in them moments, or you are going to miss them.
And I think for me, that's really important. Definitely think the phones are a bit of a thing for all of us these days.
100%.
For me, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there. I'm a bit of a control freak. I have to be the one to do everything. Yeah, me too. So I've got to be the one to clean and sort out the baby and make sure everything's ready, and it's got to be me. Sometimes all I need is someone there I know it sounds weird, let me just like say it out loud, or let me take it out on you a little bit, or not that I'm trying to do that, but just someone there to listen to the fact that I've got all these things on my head. I don't need you to do it.
Yeah.
I just need you to listen. And really understand that I'm doing all of these things. I'd say listening and, you know, being intuitive.
But maybe
to
sometimes,
what the woman's going through.
Maybe sometimes, because I don't really do it myself either. But maybe we could just pass over the rain just a little bit.
Trying that. We are
Do you know
trying
what I
that.
mean?
Yeah.
Saying that, should we organise a night out?
Yeah. 100%.
Just girls.
Oh, sicky.
Sorry.
Are you taking Mabel and Marley with you?
No, I'm not.
You said just girls.
Yeah, we'll have a lads night with you and Brandon.
we met like a prosecco and
Don't worry, one day they will be coming out with us.
yeah, Marley won't be far behind. That's for sure.
Yeah, Marley's not far off of that boy.
No, but I do. Yeah, I think just being there, just listening, just caring.
Yeah.
And you know, like, there's all the cliches in life are true. Like, it's little things that go far.
Yeah.
So if you do,
Sorry.
I'll wait for you. I'll wait for
There's nothing I
you.
can do to stop it.
All I'm going to say is, yeah, we put this on the board.
Oh gosh.
You just got it in real life.
Yeah.
No, but this is like,
Yeah, you know what? I did actually think it would be Brandon's actually very chilled.
Yeah, because he's got Mabel there,
Yeah.
just doing everything for him. This is they're going to be their
she's
relationship.
just like,
Yeah.
She's going to be the one doing the talking. She's going to be like, I got this, Brandon. You
Don't
stay
worry.
there. I'll deal with
It's
it.
just gonna,
Yeah.
it'll just be the follow. Like, I'm just going to follow just as backup.
But just sorry, one last thing on that point is, like I was saying, little things go far. Even though it's not always that little, but just making dinner is really, really helpful.
Yeah.
Or like just making a cup of coffee.
and when you're breastfeeding, don't forget the drinks.
Breastfeeding. No,
The drinks.
listen,
That,
we
that was
did
a
have-
tough. That was a tough
Yeah,
time.
the
The
drinks,
yeah.
breastfeeding thing. Like dads, I know we ain't really got to touch on this too much because there's enough mum content that talks about breastfeeding. But on a dad's side of things,
Yeah.
that is tough for us in a way because we can't really do anything.
It was hard work, and that's where our thing started. Of hun, pass me this, do this, do that. It's obviously it's not got. It's
The
staying
militant
for
mums.
life. Yeah, it's staying for life. That thing, but that was key. It's like, you know, we're sort of told when you're breastfeeding, have like all your snacks there and have your water there, but it's not as easy as that because sometimes they want it. It's like, especially when it's cluster feeding, it's got demand now, and you might have to just stop what you're doing. You just come out of the shower or whatever it is. So I think that was really important from the dad's point of view, is just getting us what we need.
Yeah, and you exclusively breastfed for a while, didn't you? Whereas I done both. I done combination.
We
because
did
Mabel would've
we
lapped.
did mostly combo.
Yeah.
It was only like a week or two that was exclusive. It weren't long.
Yeah, I don't think we didn't even start with yeah, it's the word, isn't it?
Yeah,
Exclusive breastfeeding. Because Mabel, she was so tongue-tied, it was really hard for her to latch. And I had the same thing with Marley. So then we had to get the tongue clipped. But by then I'd already put her onto milk because it just become impossible. She would only latch to one boob. I couldn't get her to go to the other one, and it was hard work. But yeah, it's got to be hard for you because you are right. That is when you're like, can you pass me this? Can you pass me that? Do this, do that.
That's one of them things, though, that men and women will just never be able to understand it fully from the other's
No, it's
perspective.
true.
Never
It's
will.
true.
Yeah.
So you just both have to do your best. Like, I think we as women sometimes have to understand that the men can't do anything, and they do feel a bit sort of spare, and it's not their fault. But obviously,
But that must be frustrating for you as well, knowing that we can't do anything, seeing us get frustrated, and then yous are struggling.
Yeah, it's like no win situation. Yeah.
It's like a vicious circle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
that's true.
But it's such a lovely experience at the same time, you know. I enjoy, once we'd got it right, you know, it took a while, but once we did get it right, I enjoyed breastfeeding. And, you know, like I said, it was just important to have the support. That is the word that, you know, sort of comes from all of it, from the men's perspective, is just support.
And the drinks is just
It's
honestly,
constantly thirsty.
That was the maddest
Listen.
thing, wasn't it?
it's so thirsty.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so literally pick up the baby. Oh, I'm so thirsty. Can you get me? It's like you can't be that thirsty that quick.
Well, I'll tell you
That
what, you get your nipples out, and we'll give it a go, shall we?
Because you can.
That was like 0 to dehydration in like 2
I must
seconds.
say I've never experienced thirst like when I was breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Pregnancy, I was very thirsty, and then breastfeeding. So
If you
that's
drink
one
about
tip for all
17
men.
gallons of
I do
water a
drink a
day.
lot of water anyway, but yeah, that's one thing for the men is just make sure that your woman's hydrated.
Yeah, definitely.
There you go, blokes. Get
Hydration.
hydration station.
And fed, like I don't know about
Fed and
you,
watered.
but obviously if I'm hungry,
Yeah,
I'm hungry, and that's it. Just make sure that the woman's fed.
yeah.
It's simple.
There you go. You're getting all the
Simple.
gems here, guys. You got to
Yeah.
make sure that you listen
We'll make it sound
and take
easy,
note.
but
That's it.
actually
Yeah, yeah.
and everything in between.
But you know what though? One thing, like I must say, obviously what you're doing is hopefully helping loads of men out there. But from my perspective, is it doesn't matter how much advice you get on parenting, on pregnancy, on birth. You have to experience it and go through your own experience, and
Yeah.
it's going to be individual to you. There's going to be things that people have said that will work for you, and then things that won't. I think the whole thing is very individual, and that's one thing to remember. is
What's
that
been
you
your
have
best
to-
bit of advice? What's the best advice someone's given you so far?
Best advice is it advice? Is that kids do get easier?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's advice. I don't know, but
Maybe.
it's the best thing that
Comforting,
I've heard.
yeah.
Comforting. The best thing I've heard is that children do get easier because I found that they do, and that kind of keeps you going through the hard times.
And you adapt so quickly
when
to get
they're
used to them,
12.
didn't you?
When
That's
they're
a whole new
12,
ball
Yeah,
game.
it's a
yeah.
whole
See,
Yeah, I
different
don't know.
ball
That's the
I don't
joys.
know.
That's the joys of this. If you're listening to it now, you're seeing Mabel and Brandon, and you're hearing their story and our stories and all the other dads' stories. While Mabel and Brandon are really young, like literally 5,
Yeah.
6 months, and hopefully this goes on until they're 21s, 30s. Who knows? You know, and
Yeah.
they're listening into this, and all of yous are getting the advice at every different stage and all the
Yeah.
key moments.
Yeah.
And it's a
Something
great thing for
small.
them to listen back to.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And on that note, I think that's a nice way of ending the segment with the mums.
Yep.
Well, you'll hear them again. You'll hear their voices, the nagging voices in the background. Sorry, mums.
That's what it is.
Well, rude.
So yeah, that was the missuses.
Well, that was a bit of a roller coaster.
Yeah,
No, but it was good.
I got some praise there.
Oh, bruv, you got more praise than I did, bruv. But I'm not gonna lie,
I was raised by a couple of women, so that's all right.
it is different. You know what I mean? I mess up all the time. It's just how I am. I'm just wired like that. You know what I mean?
I think that's the mental. But no, I never expected that. And you know what? Like, there's so many things in there, and so many parts of that journey. Like that.
Yeah.
That conversation there could have gone on for hours and hours and
Oh,
hours.
100%. We could, to be fair, we could probably get the girls back on at some point in the future as well.
But
Anyway.
this was like a nice little, in a way, recap over the last 4
And it gives you a chance
to hear what
To hear
girls, the
them.
women think. You know.
because obviously you hear them as our nagging voices in the background.
Yeah,
all
and
the
you'll hear
time.
them forever more in
Forever.
episodes.
Exactly.
But to actually get conversation with them, and
Yeah.
and you heard the kids feature as well,
And that's
slightly
it.
in the
Yeah,
background.
big up Brandon and Mabel for making up as much noise as they did.
So yeah, that was our way of giving you that little bit extra recapping over whatever, because next week we're going to start changing it up a little bit.
Yeah, man.
Like, you know, it might even
Yeah.
be like a little phone call, ease into the
That's
questions with the other dads and all
That's
that sort
it.
of stuff.
Yeah,
and
man.
then we'll start bringing everything through. And yeah, there's lots. There's so much stuff to talk about.
So much. And listen, like I said before, we bigged up Jake here. If you don't be afraid to tell us if you what you would like to hear more of, what
Yeah,
you think we should
definitely.
talk about more. Even if you just want us to shout you out because you listen, don't be scared, man.
Exactly. And
This is the only time I'm gonna say this. Don't be afraid to slide into the DMs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the button?
I don't even know.
But yeah, no, there's loads more features. Like, we've still got, like, we've told you about the dad bod.
Yeah, that's
know,
coming soon.
Get prepared. Get your shorts and t-shirts out.
You know what I mean? Listen, don't ever get it twisted yet. We will be doing this as well ourselves.
Yeah.
And I will be. I
You know
will
what,
film
we should
some.
actually, I was going to say we should stick some on some reels.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Do you know what? I'm gonna film some and just do it as like a tutorial sort of thing. You know what I mean? Just because some people might not even know how to do some of the stuff we're talking about.
You know what?
So-
You know what you did get away with
Go
last
on,
week?
talk to me, bruv.
Your product of the week.
No, do you know why I got away with it? Yeah,
Because I put a great one.
I couldn't follow
I
that
stuck it
one.
on. I'm going to stick it on you again now. So
I couldn't
what's
follow
this
that
week's?
one. Do you know what I'm gonna say? The product of my
on.
product is.
Go on.
It's that little thing that we put the what do you call it in the food in?
Okay.
The bananas and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what the name of it is, yeah, but it's like a little dummy, and it opened like the bit where the baby would normally hold on to put the dummy in their mouth. It kind of flips open,
Yeah.
and you can chop off like bits of fruit or cucumber or another one. What Nance was doing, she was using because Mabel's teething, she was using bits of ice.
Okay.
So she could bite it with her teeth, like bite the ice through.
You know what? With teething, have you tried the teething, not powder,
Granules.
the granules?
Yeah, we got them in
Yeah,
Dolls.
yeah.
Work
Yeah,
wonders.
yeah. Everyone
They work
swears by them.
wonders. Yeah,
I
they work
bought
wonders.
them just to stash aside for
Yeah.
when Brandon does start.
See it there?
Because he's always
Prepared.
he's been chewing his hand and that from
Yeah,
early.
it's
He
coming.
dribbles a lot.
It's
so
coming,
it's
bruv.
like,
It's coming.
yeah,
If he's dribbling and he's biting his hand, it's coming.
that's another little signs to look out for.
Yeah,
isn't it?
man. Definite.
Yeah,
But yeah, my product is that little dummy thing. I can't remember what it's called. I'm going to find out off Nancy and I'm going to put it on the page.
We'll get Nance to pipe in now.
Yeah, she'll probably, yeah. But yeah, that for me, that one, I thought that when she showed me that, I was like, right, that's actually quite cool. Like, that's really good. So yeah, you just put the fruit in it.
Oh yeah, that is
And they
proper.
can chew
That
it
is
and
proper clever.
The food just, where they chew it up and it mashes up with their gums, it just, that,
So the juice and all that.
yeah, the juice and all of that comes out of the little hole in the bottom. So yeah, that's my
Mad.
product of the week. It's
Mad.
bang on.
Yeah, that's I'm gonna have to have a little look into
I'll
them.
find out where Nat's got it from.
Because what I've been doing, because you're a little bit in front. When you give like a gem like that,
See what I'm
I'll
saying?
go and get it and stash it to one side.
Come on, bruv.
Ready
This
for
was the
Brandon.
beauty of us having kids so close together, bruv. We can help each other out in these departments. You know what I mean?
Exactly that. And talking of helping each other out, like that is what we're here for
That's
you.
it. Same.
Yeah. So
Yeah, man.
get us on the socials at Couple of Dads Podcast on Instagram,
At Couple of Dads Podcast on TikTok.
at Couple of Dads Pod on Twitter,
Yep.
and we've got the Facebook. That's
Couple of
That's
Dads.
Couple of Dads.
Yep.
Podcast.
And info
Info at coupleofdads.co.uk.
if you want to just join our mailing list for anything that we've got. If that's where we can send the dad
Yes.
bod thing.
Yes.
You can send that out as the
Yeah.
as
So
a
yeah,
thing
you can
for
if you
everyone.
want a little
So-
program, we'll
Yeah,
send it
man.
out to you. Here's our little gift to you. There we go.
yeah.
All for the listeners.
So
When
do.
we get Dad Bod running with the program, we'll email it out to you. So if you want that the Dad Bod little
Program.
regime that we put together,
Yeah, man.
or we get put together, because I'm not like Jim like that.
Well,
I was, but I ain't no
was.
more.
I've got a PT qualification. I just never use it.
Mad. I never knew that.
Yeah, bruv.
Mad.
Just can't be bothered.
Yeah, that's mad.
Well, when I go to the gym, I do I put myself through the paces. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. Right.
I got actual,
Easy. Learn something new every day.
you know what I mean? But I'm gonna leave it to a professional.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll send that out. So yeah, info at coupleofdads.co.uk.
There
Any
you go.
messages, hit us up on the socials. Also as well, we're going to start doing a few more visual stuff with the YouTubes and all that sort of stuff.
man.
And so hashtag Dads Army, hashtag Couple of Dads.
That's it, man. All of that good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Get yourself involved.
And then next week, we're back again.
That's it.
Peace.
Peace out.